Hey friends, today I'm starting 3 stunning varieties of coleus from seed indoors: Black Dragon, Kong Scarlet, and Wizard Jade. I'll walk you through my process, share tips for strong seedlings, and talk about why coleus is a must-have for the garden. Let's get growing. Hey y'all, it's Amanda and this is my Texas Zone 8 garden. And before we dive in, be sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share this video with a fellow gardening friend. Okay, so we are continuing on with our 2025 seed starting, and today we're going to be focusing on coleus. And coleus is one of my favorite things to start from seed. It's very prolific. The little bitty seedlings actually show what the actual coleus is going to look like. I love to grow coleus for borders. I love to grow coleus as a foliage for a cut flower. It's just a wonderful plant that I really enjoy. And if you haven't been able to, I would absolutely try to start coleus from seed. It will save you a ton of money in the end. And the reason I say it'll save you a ton of money is because I feel like with coleus, because of the way the plant grows, which tends to be really tall and elongated, I feel like you need several of the plants together to create like a moment within your garden. So typically anywhere from like 3 to 7 kind of clustered together to create something beautiful. And so with the idea of that being that you have to buy several of the plants, I think starting from seed is a really great option. Okay, a little bit about coleus. It's a tropical plant known for its vibrant patterned foliage. It's often grown as an annual. It's technically a tender perennial in zones 10 and 11, and it thrives in both sun and shade depending on the variety, making it a versatile choice in garden beds, borders, and containers. And it does great in containers too. All of my coleus is usually planted in areas where I have drip irrigation, so it gets ample water throughout the hottest times of the year. So my coleus does well in the sun, even in the hot afternoon sun, as long as I have drip irrigation going to it. So a couple of key features about coleus: it's grown for the foliage. It comes in a variety of colors, including red, purple, green, yellow, pink. And it is grown for the foliage. It does produce flowers, which are massive pollinator magnets, but the flowers are kind of like no big deal compared to how beautiful the foliage is. It's considered low maintenance, requires minimal care, and is very easy to grow, and it grows quickly. Sun and shade tolerant. Many varieties prefer shade while others thrive in the sun, so make sure you do your research before you order your seeds. It's great for containers, perfect for patios, hanging baskets, and indoor displays. And a lot of people do grow coleus indoor as a houseplant. It's also non-toxic and pollinator friendly. So I get a lot of people asking about non-toxic plants for around their animals, and coleus is one of the few. Safe for most pets and attracts beneficial insects when flowering. And you can also propagate coleus, which I have done in the past. I did not do that this year. You can propagate it or you can start it from seed. Okay, so we're going to start 3 varieties this year, and they're all being grown for different reasons, which sounds crazy because they're all coleus, right? And I want to start with saying all the coleus seeds I bought this year are from Swallowtail Garden Seeds, and that is my favorite place to purchase seeds. And no, I am not sponsored by them. I do not receive any kind of discount from any companies or anything like that. So these are my upfront and honest opinions. And how I select my favorite seed companies is the availability of the different seeds that I want, how useful the website is, and the price. Swallowtail hits number 1 on all of that for me in regards to seeds. My second favorite seed place is Southern Seeds, which is great as well. So I really like both of those companies. And last I checked, these are still available online right now if you do want to go order them. Of course, they have a whole lot more varieties than the 3 that I'm going to talk about today. Okay, let's start with the first variety, which is Kong Scarlet coleus. And I love Kong coleus. I've grown it for a lot of years. It has massive, giant leaves, and it's very expensive if you buy the plant in the nurseries. It just is like twice the amount of standard coleus. Absolutely beautiful. But it's really, really worth a grow. It looks great in the garden, but it looks excellent in containers, which is typically where I plant it. Okay, so for Kong Scarlet, it is known for its massive bright red leaves with green edges, and it's a showstopper in shade gardens. Best for shade gardens, large containers, and landscaping, shade to partial shade. Full sun may cause some scorching on it, and I definitely agree with that regarding Kong Coleus. I typically use it a lot on my patio containers, which receive mostly shade throughout the day. And the Kong Scarlet Coleus is about 22 inches tall, and it is a big plant, so it's going to be tall, but it's also going to be wide because the leaves, like each individual leaf is like this size. So absolutely gorgeous one, especially in containers. Okay, next on the list is Wizard Jade Coleus. And this one I'm growing more for a border design. So it's going to be lower growing towards the front of my gardens. And I really chose this one because of the contrast that it has. It features creamy white and green variegated leaves. And I am a sucker for variegation. I love variegated leaves, making it an elegant addition to shade gardens, best for shade borders, containers, and indoor use. Thrives in full shade to partial sun and is about 12 to 14 inches tall. So I'm really excited to be able to get that one. That one came with 50 seeds. The Kong Coleus only comes with 10. And so we'll be starting more of the Wizard Jade Coleus. I'll probably start 2 containers of the Wizard Jade Coleus. But I also do see it tucked into some containers utilized in my shade garden space as well. Okay, and last on my list today is Black Dragon Coleus, which I have grown multiple times before, and it's one of my favorites. It's a dramatic coleus with a deep burgundy black ruffled leaves and a velvety texture, and it looks like velvet. It's absolutely beautiful. It's best for containers and dramatic garden accents and shade areas, and it grows about 18 inches tall. I actually think mine grows a little bit taller, closer to 2 feet. About 24 inches. I grow this specific one for cut flower arrangements. This makes for a really great foliage mixed in with some of my flowers. And I really love the dark color because I really feel like it sets off some brighter tones of something like my zinnias, which I think looks really, really pretty. And so this one is excellent. So all of them are grown for very different reasons. One, Kong Coleus, mainly for containers on my front porch. The Wizard Jade Coleus is for a border plant and tucked in my shade garden. And then the Black Dragon Coleus is grown for cut flower arrangements. So very excited. Oh, and the Black Dragon is 50 seeds. I might start 2 containers of that and give some to Kristen. Okay, let's talk a little bit about my seed starting journey. So a couple of weeks ago, I ran out of soil and I went and bought, I ran out of my regular soil, which is the Burger BM7, and I went and bought Vigoro and I started using Vigoro. Oh, y'all. The amount of mold on all the plants and seedlings that I use the Vigoro soil on is insanity. So super disappointed in that. I'm going to have a whole video on dealing with that because I'm going to have to scrape the mold and treat the plants and pot them up in new soil. It's a whole thing. So I have increased my air circulation to help out with that, but that Vigoro soil, and you can see a distinct line, like between the ones that had the Burger BM7, between the ones that had the Vigoro. All the Vigoro ones are just covered with a film of mold across the top of their soil. It sucks. So I will not be using Vigoro again. And so I did make the trek out yesterday to, I purchased my soil from Homegrown Plants in Farmersville, Texas. So I made the trek out and picked up some Burger BM7. And gosh, even just putting my hands in it, oh, so much better. So much, it's just so light and fluffy and oh my gosh, I love it. I was talking to one of the managers there. She was expressing concern over peat moss. For the U.S., we import peat moss. And peat moss is like peat bogs are a dwindling, have dwindling availability. There's only so much peat and it's not renewable. It's not a renewable source at all. And we import most of them. So if tariffs end up hitting all the cost of the soil that all of the nurseries use, and almost all of them use this Burger BM7 or some type of soil with peat in it, If the tariffs hit, so they're going to end up raising the price significantly of peat, and which is going to raise the price of all the soil, and which is going to raise the price of all the plants that you get from the nursery, because they put all of their plants in peat. Now, the alternative for peat is cocoa coir, but we're not producing enough of that at this point in time, and it will take several years in order to be able to change out the peat market for cocoa coir instead. And it's not like we can make more peat in the US. Like it's not a sustainable material. Like there's only so much, which is why we import it from other places, because we don't have enough here. That's literally it. So it's not like we can make more. So I was telling her I might go buy like a pallet of Burger BM7, which would be astronomically expensive, because I think it's like 50 bags and each bag's like $25. It's a lot. It's a whole lot. I might go invest in a whole pallet, which would last me a couple of years, but would keep that price down for me. I don't know. I have to think about it, what I'll do, what I want to do, because this is already an expensive soil. And if the price goes up more, I can start looking for an alternative, but oh my gosh, that Vigoro was so bad. So I will have to figure something out. I love my Burger BM7. Okay, but let's go ahead and get started on starting these seeds. Okay, and I should say, don't drop comments about politics and stuff down below. I'm not trying to get into it about what's right and what's not. I'm just trying to state the obvious facts of what could happen if tariffs come in on peat, just the costs that it's going to have. Okay, so let's talk about my my seed trays. So I like to use an Amazon seed starting tray. It has 12 seed cells. It's a very basic, simple, inexpensive tray. And it's perfect for a home gardener who's not necessarily starting a whole bunch of seeds. I should say a whole bunch of one type of seed. I start a whole bunch of varieties of seeds, but not a whole bunch of one type. So Coleus, I don't need to start 72 of those. I want to start, like 12 of one kind. So it's the set of 12 seed cells, and it comes with a water reservoir just like that. And then it also comes with a humidifier dome on top that has a dial, so you can adjust your humidity. And basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in with my Burger BM7. Oh, it feels so good. I'm so excited. And I'm just going to bring it across the top, and I'm going to use a couple of fingers to kind of gently push into the soil. We don't want to compact it. We just want to firm it up a little bit. We still want it to be loose so we have really great air circulation through the soil to prevent things like mold, but also so that our roots can get go through the soil very easily. So I'm going to go ahead and fill up 5 trays. Okay, so next we're going to fill up our water reservoirs about 50% of the way with water. Okay, and then we'll just set our seed cells in there, and very quickly it will soak up the water. All right, and let me bring y'all in closer for the seeds because they are tiny. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and start with the Kong Coleus. These are going to look a little different than the other ones because these are coated. More expensive than the other ones. There's only 10 seeds in the container, and they are pelleted or coated, so they have like a yellow water soluble coating over the top of it. So once it gets wet, the yellow coating will dissolve and the seed will be left in place. Now, Coleus is surface sow, so literally we're just dropping the seed right on the surface, just like this. And there were 11, so I got a bonus one. And I'm just very carefully going through and pushing down. Oh, there it is. I accidentally moved the seed. Pushing down the seed to make sure it has a good contact. You want to be careful on this that you're not transferring the seed from one place to the next. And I am going to put today's date on it, which is February 12th. just like that. And then I'm going to go ahead and put a lid on it, making sure that the humidity dome is closed. All right, let's go on to the next variety. We're going to do the Wizard Jade Coleus next, and there's 50 seeds in this, and these are not coated, so they literally look like dirt. So I will not be going through to press these down into the soil because I literally cannot tell the difference between the soil and the actual seeds. And we'll probably use all of these. I'm going to try to get 2 in each container. We'll see how that goes. It's really hard with these itty bitty ones. It's hard. All right, well, I'm just going to try to do the best I can. These are so tiny. I don't know. Some of them are going to have 2, some of them have 3, some of them have 1. I don't know. I think that there's more than 50 in here, though. All right, and we're going to go ahead and put the dome on both of those. And remember, I did not press those down because I did not want a chance moving the seed from place to place. You can also top these with vermiculite if you need to. I've been using vermiculite less and less just because I had several people ask if I could show if it was possible to grow the seeds without vermiculite. So I am trying to show you guys that you can. You don't have to have the extra expense of the vermiculite. I prefer vermiculite. Let me just be real upfront about that. It really helps keep the soil moist on the top, and I think it aids in germination. All right, and then the last variety we're starting is the Black Dragon, and there are 50 seeds in here, so we'll be starting all of those as well. And I'll just do the best I can, trying to get at least 1 into each seed cell. All right, let's see how those do. All right, and we'll go ahead and put the humidity domes on both of those, making sure that the dial is closed. Okay, so like I said before, these are surface sows, so they need light to germinate, so we have to put them under the lights over here. The days to germinate are 10 to 20 days, so a little bit longer than you would think. That's why we need that humidity dome closed to keep it nice and moist inside so that the seed can germinate. And the germination temperature is between 70 and 75 degrees. My house tends to be between 68 and 72. So I think I'm going to leave it off the germination mat for now. So we'll work it under here. And I think I'm going to take one of my germination mats down, and we'll go ahead and start lining them up right under my lights. You want them as close to the light as possible because once the seed germinates, you want to make sure that it doesn't have to reach really far for the light. The farther away the light is, the more the seedling is going to stretch as far as possible. Now, 10 to 20 days to germination. A couple of different questions. Once 50% of my seeds have germinated in one container, I will go ahead and remove the humidity dome lid and allow it to continue to grow without the lid. A lot of people ask, well, I only had some of mine germinate, not all of them. Do I leave the lid on? It's kind of up to you. The longer you leave the lid on, the more likely you are going to deal with something like damping off, which is a fungal mold disease that will kill your seedlings. So I prefer to take it off at about 50%. If you want to push it further, but prepare yourself for that. You are at risk for dealing with damping off. Same thing, I had also had some people ask about once things have germinated that needed to be on a heat mat. When do you remove it from the heat mat? Once your seeds have germinated and you're removing the humidity dome, remove it from the heat mat at that point as well. But definitely as close as possible on here so that they don't have to reach for the light. And days to maturity for the coleus is 60 to 90 days, so they are very fast growing. Last year I started my coleus way earlier, and I ended up having to cut them back and cut them back and cut them back. And I started a bunch of coleus like I am this year, and they took up a ton of space. Well, right now, all of my petunias are taking up a ton of space. So I waited a little bit longer to get my coleus started in hopes that our temperatures would be a little bit more stable and that I could move a bunch of my petunias out into the greenhouse outside, and therefore making room for the coleus pallets. Coleus is very susceptible to cold. It doesn't like freezing temps. It will die once you get freezing temps. So very, very excited to get those going. Very, very excited that I thought ahead this year. I didn't just choose, oh, that's pretty. I really thought for the functionality of each of the varieties of coleus. And so I'm really excited to be able to include those. Yeah, seed starting is going well besides the mold, but we're going to deal with it. I'm going to talk to y'all all about it. I will say my nasturtium have not germinated. And my peppers are actually not doing so great. They're doing okay, but they are taking their sweet little time. So that's something that's a little bit different. But I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. I had somebody the other day, they were like, you need to edit. Your video should only be 5 minutes long with seed starting. And I'm like, that's just not who I am. I talk a lot. It's me. That's how I do that. And the videos are set up for you to be able to start seeds right along with me. That's literally how they're set up. So they are not 5 minutes, hit all the highlights and move on. I go into depth. I talk through the whole process, and it is who I am. So I told that person, this is who I am. If you want something else, go somewhere else. So I'm always amazed at what people are willing to write on the internet. Anyway, let me know what seeds you're starting. Are you going to start coleus? This was a very popular seed starting video last year. My coleus video was, and tons of people started coleus and they loved it. I heard so many awesome results about starting coleus, and it's a massive money saver. I mean, because literally like my seeds, like that was less than like $8 worth of seeds. And I'm going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 like pallets worth. That's amazing. Absolutely amazing. So super excited. Let me know if you're going to start coleus this year. As always, make sure you like and comment on the video. Every time you like and comment, it helps grow the video so much. And if you don't feel comfortable leaving a comment, just drop me an emoji below, letting me know that you made it to the end of the video and that you say hi. And be sure to check me out on my social media outlets, including Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. I also just started a Patreon community, and it's going great so far. I'm really excited. It has exclusive content, so videos that you can't find anywhere else. It's a smaller group of gardeners, so we get the opportunity, we share photos, we talk about what's going on in our garden, we ooh and ah. I usually post every day letting them know where I am and what I'm doing for gardening stuff, whether I'm shopping or I found this deal or what do you think about this, a lot of that. And so it's really, really nice. There's only about 20 of us on there right now, which is, it's kind of glorious. And so I like it way better than social media. I like it way better than Instagram and Facebook and TikTok. In fact, I'm thinking about not doing my Instagram and Facebook and TikTok anymore and just posting all my stuff on the Patreon community. And there's a free option if you want to do free option, and there are paid levels that get you more content. But there is a free option if you just want to keep up with some basic social media stuff. I love it because it's edited out everything else except for gardening people, which I'm here for. It's really, really fun. All right, you all, as always, she's a mad gardener or decorator or anything else that she wants to be. Thanks, y'all.